Welcome to week 3. We're going to be making 12 of the larger flower square and we're going to be doing 12 of the smaller flower square. The difference between them is the larger one has 4 rounds of petals and the smaller one only has 3 rounds of petals. And then we go on to the blue colour to shape them into a square and to finish them off. We're going to start with the centre, which starts with a 6 chain that we make into a ring, and then we work 12 double crochets into the middle, and then we'll continue into the petals and eventually get to the border that starts to make the square become square. And so first of all, take your blue yarn and make your 6 chain. Start with your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now slip stitch into the first chain that you make, so that'll be 6 chains from your hook to make it into a circle. Just pull it through, make 1 chain, and now work 12 double crochets into the centre. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue round until you've got 12 double crochets into the centre of your flower, and pause your video and come back when you've completed your 12 double crochets. So now we've got 12 double crochets into the centre ring. Slip stitch in the first stitch to close the circle and cut your yarn ready to join your next colour. Take your next colour and join in to any stitch. Work 4 chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Miss your next stitch and then slip stitch into the next stitch. Work 3 chain this time. That's 3 chain. Miss your next stitch and slip stitch into your next stitch. Continue to do this until you've got 6 chain spaces around your centre circle. That's 1, 2, 3. Miss the next stitch, slip stitch, 1, 2, 3 chain, miss your next stitch, one, 2, 3, miss your next stitch, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain spaces already. So this will be your last one. So 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into that first chain that you did when you were joining this colour. So you've now got your chain spaces that you're going to work into to make your petals. So now 1 chain, slip stitch into the chain stitch, the chain space, 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and then you're going to do 3 trebles all into this same space. So that's 1 treble, 2 treble, and 3 trebles, and then 1 chain. That's just to help lower it down to make the petal shape, and then a treble into that same space. You've now created your first small petal. So now work into your next chain space by doing a double crochet, 1 chain, because that just raises it up a little bit, and then 3 trebles all into that space. This is the 3rd treble, and then 1 chain, and then double crochet into the same space. So you've now got 2 petals forming. Repeat this another 4 times into each chain space until you get back to the beginning of the round. Pause your video and come back when you've completed the first petal round. So now you've completed your 6 petals. You want to slip stitch in the first chain of that round. So just slip stitch and then work 5 chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to work behind your petals, so pull that chain behind, not over the top, so behind it. Do a double crochet between the last double crochet and the first double crochet of the next petal on your last round, and then work 4 chain, 2, 3, 4. You want to double crochet into the space between your last double crochet and your first one of your last round again, between your next 2 petals. And then you can see underneath that you've got your chain spaces running underneath your petals that you made on your last round. You want to continue another 4 times until you've got back to the beginning of this round. So you want to pause the video and come back when you've completed this round. So slip stitch now into the first stitch of your round. And if I turn my work over, you can see the chains now running around underneath the petals. And now we're going to start the second round of petals. So first of all, you want to do 1 chain, and then you want to do a double crochet into the first chain space underneath the petal. Fold your front petal forward so you can see where you're working. You want to do a half treble, so that's yarn round hook through the space, pull through, yarn round your hook, but pull through all 3 loops, and that makes your half treble. Next we want to make a treble, so we make 1 treble, and then we make 2 more trebles, so that's 3 trebles that we're going to have in the centre of this petal. And now we're back to the half treble as we come down the other side of the petal to curve it, and then 1 double crochet at the end. So you've got your first petal of your second round of your flower completed. I'll show you that again into the next chain space. So simply fold your first petal over so you can nicely see where you're working. So 1 double crochet into that chain space, a half treble next time, so that's, you're going to go through all 3 loops at once, and then you want to work 3 trebles for the middle of your petal. So that's 2, 3, back to your half treble, pulling through all 3 loops, and then your double crochet to finish that petal. So you've now got 2 petals forming underneath for your second petal round. You can pull back your top petals and you see your flower is starting to form. Continue in this way into the next 4 chain spaces and then slip stitch in the first stitch to complete this round. Pause your video and come back when you've finished your second round of your petals. So now we've completed the second round of petals, and we're going to continue on to the third round. So we need to do 6 chain this time. 2, 3, 6, and then you want to double crochet between the last and the next double crochet of the petal from the last round. There you go, double crochet into there, and then you want to do 5 chain this time, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, double crochet between the last and the next double crochet in your next 2 petals, and 5 chain. You want to continue all the way around until you've got 6 chain spaces behind your petals of your flower. So pause your video and come back when you've completed this round. We've now completed the 6th round. We're going to start to make the third round of the petals. So you want to 1 chain and then double crochet into the chain space behind, pulling your petals forward so you can see where you're working, and then you want to work a half treble. So 1 half treble done, and then you need to work 2 trebles. So that's 1 treble, 2 treble, and now we're going to do 3 double trebles to add some extra height to your petal, all into the same chain space. So your double treble is yarn round hook twice through the space, pull your loop through, yarn round hook, pull through 2 loops, another 2 loops, and then the final 2 loops. So that's 2 double trebles made. Make the 3rd one, and now we're back to doing trebles as we go down the other side of the petal. So that's 1 treble, 2 treble, a half treble, going through all 3 loops at once, and then a double treble. And that's your first petal of your 3rd round of petals. I'll just show you again into the next chain space. Pull your petals forward so you can see where you're working. 1 double crochet, 1 half treble, going through all 3 loops, 2 trebles, that's your second treble completed. Now work your double trebles, so that's yarn round your hook twice, through the chain space, yarn round hook, and through 2 loops, 2 loops, and 2 loops. Work another 2 of those. And now we'll work down the other side of the petal, which is back to the trebles. So 2 trebles, a half treble, and then a 1 double crochet to finish. So that's 2 of your 3rd round of petals completed. You need to repeat these petals another 4 times till you get to the end of the round. So pause your video, and when you've completed this round, come back and we'll continue with the next round. So that's round 7 completed. You can see now how the flowers beginning to bloom more. The next round is some more chains that are going to go behind the flower. So start by doing 7 chain this time. 6, 7, and then an extra 1, so it's actually 8 chain at the beginning. And then you want to do your double crochet again in the same place as before, so it's between your double crochets at the end of one petal and the start of the next. And now you do your 7 chain. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do your double crochet between your last and your next double crochet of the 2 petals like we did before, and continue in this way until you get to the end of this round. So pause your video and come back when you've completed this round. So that's the end of round 8. Now if you're making the smaller flower square, this is where you'll finish your actual flower. So you cut your yarn and fasten off and then go on to your blue yarn. But here we're going to work another round of petals just to make it an extra bigger flower. So you want to do 1 chain. Again, pull your petals back like we did before so you can see your chain space easy to work into. 1 double crochet, a 1/2 treble, going through all 3 loops, and then you want to do 2 trebles, and then we want to work 5 double trebles. So that's working your yarn around your hook twice, through, pull through, and you're going to go through 2 loops, 2 loops, and then 2 loops again. So that's the first double treble done. Make another 4 for the middle of this petal. That's 2 and 3. 4. Let's double check that I've got them there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 double trebles. Now we're going to do 2 trebles to come back down the other side of the petal. Working another treble, and then a 1/2 treble, which is the one that we go through all 3 loops, and then a double crochet in the end. So that's your first petal of your 4th row of petals completed. I'll show you how to do that once again. So it's 1 double crochet into your next space, a 1/2 treble, it's going through all 3 of those loops, 2 trebles, and now we want to do 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one makes it 5. Now work your 2 trebles, bringing your petal smaller that side, so another treble, your half treble, and then your double treble. So that's 2 petals that we've completed on the 4th row of petals. Continue in this way all the way around until you've got 6 petals made. Pause your video and come back when you've completed this round. Now we've finished round 9 and we want to join in the blue yarn to start making the chains behind the petals, to then start to make the flower into a square. So join your yarn between 2 petals, 1 chain, and then double crochet into that same space. And now work 9 chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want to do a double crochet between the last double crochet and the first one of the next 2 petals. Work another 9 chain, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then work between the next 2 double crochets between the 2 petals like we've been doing before. Continue in this way until you've worked behind each petal, so you'll have 6 chain loops behind, all having 9 chains in. You can pause your video now and come back when you've completed this round. So once you've got back to the beginning of your round, slip stitch into the first double crochet that you made, and that's that round completed. If you turn your square over or your flower over, you can see your chains running around underneath the flower, and this is now ready for us to start to make it into a square. So to start with, you need to work 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3. Working into the first 9 chain space, you want to work 2 trebles. That's 1, 2. Now you're going to work 2 double trebles. This is the first start of the corner. That's 1 double treble, 2 double trebles, do 2 chain spaces, and that's going to be your chain space in your corners. Work another 2 double trebles, all into this first 9 chain space. That's 1 and 2. Now you want to work 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. And that has started your corner on your square, so you can just see where your corner is starting to form, and now you're working along one side of the square. We now want to work into the next chain space, and you'll be working 8 trebles and 2 double trebles. So that's 1 treble, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now do your 2 double trebles. That's yarn round your hook twice to start, and you're going through 2 loops 3 times. Another double treble through your 2 loops, and that's your stitches worked into your second 9 chain space. So now we're going to continue into your third 9 chain space. So this time you're going to do 2 chain, which will be your corner 2 chain, and you work another 2 double trebles, but that's working into your next chain space. And now work 8 trebles all into this third chain space that you've been working into. And you'll soon start to see your square taking shape. I'll just count those trebles. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just work another 2. And if you look at your work, you've got a corner that's formed here, and then you've got your corner that you did at the beginning. So you can now see how the square is starting to take shape. So into your next chain space, you'll be working 3 treble, and then 2 double treble, two chain, another 2 double trebles, and this is forming your third corner. Then 3 trebles, do that one again. That's 1, 2, 3 trebles. So continue to work following the pattern until you get back to your starting point. Then pause the video and come back, and we'll continue to do the next round. So that's round 11 completed. So now we're going to go on to round 12, which is simply just trebles all the way around, working 2 trebles and 2 chain and 2 trebles into the corner spaces. So start by doing 3 chain, and then work 1 treble into each stitch to the corner. So that will be 4 trebles on this one. And then when you get to the corner, you want to work 2 trebles, 2 chain and 2 trebles all into that corner chain space. So that's 1, 2 chain, 2 trebles. That's your corner made, you can see there. So now working each stitch to the next corner, working a treble into each stitch. So work all the way along to your next corner space. This is nice and easy, nice easy round. So keep going till you get to your corner. Nearly there, just a few more trebles. Okay, one last treble to do, and then we're at the corner chain space, and we're working the corner trebles again. So that's 2 trebles, 2 chain, and 2 trebles, all into that corner chain space. You can nicely see that your square is now coming along and taking shape. Continue along each edge, working 2 trebles, 2 chain and 2 trebles into each corner space until you've got to the end of your round. And then pause your video and come back when you've finished. So that's round 12 completed now. You just slip stitch into your 3 starting chain at the beginning to finish, and now we're going to do a round of double crochet just to finish it off. So you need to start with 2 chain and work a double crochet into each stitch to the corner. This will be 6 double crochet. And then work 1 double crochet, 2 chain and 1 double crochet, all into that chain stitch at the corner, and then work in double crochet along the other side until you get to your next corner, and you'll be working the corner the same as what you've just done now by working 1 double crochet and 2 chain and another double crochet, all into the same corner. And this is your last round of this square. We're nearly at the corner. So it's 1 double crochet, 2 chain and 1 double crochet, all into the next corner chain. Work along the remaining sides, doing 1 double crochet into working the corners, which is 1 double crochet and 2 chain and 1 double crochet. Continue all the way around until you finish this round, then slip stitch into the second chain at the beginning of the round, and your square is complete then. So we've now completed the larger of the flower squares. The smaller flower square is worked in exactly the same way. but you're only working 3 rounds of petals, and then you do your chains in blue behind your petals like we did on this one. Simply follow the pattern, doing your trebles and your double trebles into the chain spaces to make it into a square, and then continue until you've finished your pattern and you've got your square finished.